He's a #1 Amazon bestseller. He's an NLP manipulator. He's a property course seller. He's a Lamborghini driving multi-millionaire property guru. Forget that same old boring I am me narcissistic podcast format, because nobody gives a fuck. This podcast is all about you. So I'm taking these few seconds to thank you for subscribing, to thank you for leaving your 5-star reviews, and thank you for sharing this show with all of your friends. My team and I will keep bringing you these episodes and answering all of your burning questions in my Facebook community group called Property Crash Course. If you can just keep telling all of your friends about this show. Here we go. So this is about serviced accommodation survival secrets. So right now, this episode is for anybody who's maybe doing a rent-to-rent essay. So that's obviously, well, I don't need to explain that. You guys know what that is. Renting the property from a landlord or an owner and then reletting that property and turn it into service accommodation. So this applies to you guys if you're a rent-to-rent service accommodation provider. It also applies to anybody who's a landlord who owns a property who is running that property as service accommodation. So, I mean, it's on booking.com or it's on Airbnb, something along those lines where it's a short stay accommodation. So let me go into the service accommodation survival secrets, because what you guys, or what's happening right now in the market, in the climate that we're in right now in April, right in the heart of the coronavirus, is obviously bookings have gone from 84% occupancy we were all year round, and now they've gone very, very, very low. So unless you guys take these tough decisions that I'm going to go through right now in this it's a strategy session, I'm going to give you tactics, I'm going to give you answers, I'm going to give you solutions, I'm going to give you the skills and the resources, everything that you need right now, so you guys can weather the storm and stop cash leaking out of your property or out of your bank account, so it puts you guys back in control. Now, this will also help you avoid evictions as well, which is absolutely terrible right now, which is huge and on the rise. This episode will help you increase your revenue and help you stay in business. And it will show you some smart ways, some really clever ways that you can cover your costs and increase your revenue. And if you don't do these things, basically your service accommodation, property or business will die. It's that simple. Now, everything I'm talking about here in this episode, we're actually doing right now. We've done it. We've implemented it. We've come out the other side of it. We've got experience and knowledge by actually executing on every single thing that I'm sharing with all of you guys on here right now. This is not theory. This is not textbook. This is not somebody else said it before and then it's never actually been executed and then we've regurgitated that. We're actually in the trenches doing the deals. We've been doing it for a very, very long time. I've been buying, selling, investing, full-time investor since the year 2000. So that's 20 years already, and into service accommodation since around about 2005, 2006 when I first touched on it. Okay, so definitely veterans of the game. So I'm going to give you some skills, everything we're talking about, tactics, resources, solutions, quick wins, everything that you guys need to know that we're doing exactly right now in my business to help you weather the storm, to help you avoid eviction, to stop the cash bleeding out of your bank account or out of your service accommodation property, to keep you in business, to increase your revenue, to mitigate your losses against evictions, to cover your costs, and even earn you more money right in the heart of the coronavirus, guys, where most people would think is not possible. Lots of service accommodation providers that have been on some shitty discovery thing or discovery course or £99, day training to be a service accommodation guru. I mean, many of those guys, it's a shame that they got into the market so late because they've been sort of sold, not really sold the dream, or maybe sold the dream. It just depends on, who they bought into to get access to this information. But lots of those guys are just completely left now, hung out to dry. They've put all their savings in, all their money in, and now they're left holding the baby, where they've got into this opportunity where they think now at the end of the road. Now, it's definitely not the end of the road. It's still got lots of legs in it. There's lots of mileage in it. We're definitely not leaving or closing down or shutting the service accommodation business down. Absolutely no way. There's a lot more money to be made, but you need to be smart. You need to be smarter. You need to be educated. You need to have been through a recession. You need to have been through a downturn like I have, 2008, 9, 10, 11, Brexit, everything else. I mean, if you're new to this, you'll struggle and won't have the answers, or somebody will charge you tens of thousands of pounds to be mentored to give you the answers. Otherwise, you're not going to know how to navigate around this very difficult, uncertain time and climate. If you're already shortletting on Booking.com or Airbnb and you're not generating 8,200 for your 3 beds, 6,200 for your 2 beds, or even 4,100 for your 1 beds each month, then oh my goodness, you're losing money every single month. Now, I created an ebook to show you exactly how we hit those numbers consistently in my business, and I want to give you a free copy so I can show you exactly how you can do the same. Just go to www.theyrentanyhome.com/free book and tell me where to send your copy. Does that make sense? That we're in right now, but this won't last forever. It will pass. So the name of the game right now is to minimize or mitigate your losses right now while you can by doing things differently. And this is exactly what this emergency episode's about. It's it's some emergency service accommodation survival secrets, basically, that I'm going to go through right now and give you the tactics, the strategies, exactly what you guys need to stop the cash bleeding out of your service accommodation property or your service accommodation portfolio. So first of all, this is exactly what we've done recently and exactly what we're doing right now. So first of all, you need to remove the double beds, remove the king size beds, remove the double beds and replace them with smaller single beds. I'm talking about 2'6" beds, okay? Now, the reason for that is because right now, there's only really a market, right now I'm talking about, for key workers, for contractors, for NHS workers. So any of the properties that we've already got, we've got some 3 beds set up with a king in one room, a double and another double, then a couple of single occasional sofa beds. Now that's okay, but that's 3 bedrooms. And if everybody wants their own bed, okay, men, sharers, contractors, key workers, NHS staff, which is where the market is right now. So you need to move with the market, not against the market. So that could be 1 person in a double bed. That would be 3 people in a 3-bedroom property. Now, depending on how that property is priced, because it needs to be aggressively priced or priced accordingly to attract those key workers and contractors and NHS workers, because they can get lots of deals right now, that will look expensive to some people because they will look at it as they can only get 1 person in each bedroom, and then whoever wants to sleep, upstairs or downstairs or wherever it is in the lounge on the sofa bed. So that's only 3 beds, but those 3 beds are doubles, can take 6 people. Now, when you separate those beds, it's very simple. It sounds very simple right now, but when you separate those beds into 2 singles in each of the rooms, or even 3 singles, that immediately goes for those 3 bedrooms from 6 down to 3 because they're doubles, back up to 6. So now 6 people can share the cost. And if it was, £100 a night or even £150 a night, it's a massive difference. It's half the price now for everybody. So what we've done is we've literally removed every double, as many double beds as we can out of the properties. The king size beds, they're gone. And we've put singles, 2'6" in, and now we're getting bookings, and now we're getting contractors, and now we're getting security guards, and now we're getting NHS workers, and now we're getting key workers, and we are getting bookings. Now, some of those bookings are very, very lucrative. I mean, we're even achieving I think it's a £159 a night in certain parts of the UK. So that's huge for this time of year as well. It may even be close to or even a little bit more than what we used to get before around this time of year, end of March, early April. And that literally comes down to because there's lots of people that want to share. Key workers, NHS staff, etc., and contractors, security guards, and they're staying for longer periods. So they're not here for one night or 2 nights. They're booking 2 nights, 3 nights, 5 nights, 7 nights, even a month. We got some people in some of the properties for 30 days or 28 days on one hit, and they just want the property secured. Hello, Joe. It's nice to have you on here. This is the first live, actually, Joe. We're doing a first live. It's for the podcast. It's for the YouTube channel. And, just decided just to play around with Instagram. Never done a live before. We thought we'd just do it live today. If you've got any questions, put some questions in and I'll go through those at the end for you guys as well. So, yeah, we just thought... Obviously, right now, the time of year, we're giving the properties, our service accommodation properties, to key workers, NHS staff, etc., and they're just taking it themselves, and they're rotating their own guests. They're talking to people in the hospitals. They're talking to people wherever they're working, and what's happening is they just enables them to book it for a whole month. Now, this is a property that would have rented for less before, with the voids, this time of year, with the cleaning charges and everything else, and they've just blocked the whole month, and they took 2 in the same building that we've got at exactly the same time. So right now, what I'm saying to you guys is we're removing all the double beds in all of the properties. Even this weekend, we've ordered a lot more single beds from wherever we can get them from, and we're swapping all the double beds in every single property right now to accommodate key workers, NHS staff, and contractors. Hey, podcast, let me interrupt quickly. Now, I've split this episode up into 2 parts because I go deep into some tactics and strategies that can really save your business, save your cash flow, stop the cash bleeding out of your account right now. So I just wanted to make sure that all of you guys are sharp, your mind's right, you're paying attention, you're not distracted if it's an hour-long episode. So I cut this episode up into 2 manageable sections. So, just head over to part 2 as soon as it's released. It should be, the next episode after this, probably 2 days' time. Once you've digested the first part of the episode, and then I go deeper in part 2 to give you guys all the tactics, the strategies, everything that you guys need.
He's a #1 Amazon bestseller. He's an NLP manipulator. He's a property course seller. He's a Lamborghini driving multi-millionaire property guru. Forget that same old boring I am me narcissistic podcast format, because nobody gives a fuck. This podcast is all about you. So I'm taking these few seconds to thank you for subscribing, to thank you for leaving your 5-star reviews, and thank you for sharing this show with all of your friends. My team and I will keep bringing you these episodes and answering all of your burning questions in my Facebook community group called Property Crash Course. If you can just keep telling all of your friends about this show.